Welcome to Washington Football Week with your host, one half of that dynamic duo, Sean Spencer, and South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer.
Don't play us if you're undefeated.
Where we celebrate past success while looking to a bright future. There's a youth movement in Washington, and they're ready to take the reins, led by firefighters.
Play aggressive.
It's a new day, new dawn, no longer the laughing stock. It's time to take them.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And you know what day it is, ladies and gentlemen? It's Hump Day! That means it's Washington Football Weekly in the building, and I got my guys with me. So, it's that time of the year. We're going to talk a little off-season talk, but you see who he is. Which way? Am I pointing the right direction? Yeah, I think, we're good. My guy, South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
How you doing, man? It looks a little cold up there. You got a hoodie on and your winter hat.
Yeah. I had to come with this. Now I will say it was in its 50s today, but then it dropped.
Yeah.
It dropped a little bit.
Yeah.
So a little chilly, but we all right, man. We are all right. How about you? You all right?
We are. We're getting some of that weather here as well. And I gotta tell you, I have that same hat, and I put my son in. He walks in every day wearing one of those old school Redskin hats with the big old floppy thing on top. What a really old school one. That's what he wears.
There we go. I love it. I love it.
So I can see him walking in. That's why. Because I'm driving away. I can spot him.
That's my boy. That's my boy. I know that tear drops your eye. Like, my boy. That's my boy. Hey, yo, you see my man. You see this guy, the guy formerly known as the Shirtless Wonder, Ab Low. What up, Ab?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah.
It's the off-season.
It's that time of the year, my friend.
Love it.
Yeah, your favorite time of the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at a familiar time, the time when we we all get excited because everything is up in the air now. Obviously, after last year, we were super stoked on what could potentially happen this year. Unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition, and we're in a familiar place coming off another 4-win season. It has been a struggle, but we're still here. We're still ready to talk. But like we alluded to a week ago, the coaching carousel is definitely in full effect. Coaches have been getting let go left and right. Obviously, we know about Harbaugh over in Baltimore. The Raiders cut Pete Carroll, Stefanski out in Cleveland, so on and so forth. We were not immune to that. We had our offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, as well as our defensive coordinator, even though he got demoted, Joe Witt Jr., both no longer with the team. And we did make an addition to that. But before we do, Will and I talked about it. Ab, we're going to come to you, man. David, Joe Witt Jr. and Cliff Kingsbury, both OCs, are both coordinators out. What you think about it, man?
I'm sorry, man. Like, my computer just messed up. Y'all still hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We hear you. You good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Will, you go, because I really, like, my stuff is tripping right now. I'm trying to get it together. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Will, you and I
Well,
discussed it. Go ahead.
Obviously, Yeah, last week we talked a little bit about the concerns about cutting Cliff Kingsbury and going through and what we're going to get. The big challenge right now that we have is who is going to replace Cliff Kingsbury, a guy who had total autonomy over the offense. DQ is a CEO coach who is willing to let his coaches do their thing. And now, by getting rid of Cliff Kingsbury, you got to look around and say, well, who can do just as well, if not better than him? There's a couple we wondering, could some of these guys that get fired, like now a Mike McDaniel or a Kevin Stefanski, come in as an offensive coordinator? But it also seems like they're getting enough head coaching interviews. So we said, well, what about a Brian Dable? Or is there some names that are younger guys that are looking for an opportunity? But the biggest concern when you go that route is this is year 3 for Dan Quinn. A lot of pressures on him. Year 3 for Jaden Daniels. Are you bringing in somebody that is going to have never done this before? And we'll kind of get into what it goes to. But Ab, you good to take on your thoughts?
Yeah, my biggest issue was because me and you were talking about it. It was just that I really thought they were going to go with someone with experience because it's a real concern that DQ would legitimately will be on the hot seat next year. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And it's because we started off so hot and then now this digression and then coaches on the hot seat, to me, one thing that they always do this before they're about to be fired. And that's I call the scapegoat firings. And they do usually just one, but there's arguably 2 with us right now. Mm-hmm. So this is a sign to me that Dan Quinn's job is on the line next year. And to me, I would like someone more experienced, bring someone for the OC with someone with more experience to just, to elevate us, especially someone that got along with everybody like Cliff. So you want someone that's going to do more than what he did.
Right. So with him being out, we wondered where we would look. Would we look elsewhere? But it looks like they decided to look in-house. And Washington signs David Blau as their new offensive coordinator. Was a quarterback at Purdue for 4 years. Didn't get drafted, but bounced around the Browns, the Lions, Minnesota, and the Cardinals. And then back to the Lions before he eventually retired from his playing days and then was the assistant quarterbacks coach to Tavita Pritchard in Washington over the last couple years. Now he was elevated once Tavita Pritchard. Obviously, he's the head coach now at Stanford. Cliff is out. To your point, Ab, this guy is not experienced in this. This is the first time he's doing it. Very fresh, very new, and that does raise some concern because it's like, we know, like you said, to the point. I also think Dan Quinn is kind of sitting here like, I got to get it together. Like this, the coaches, let the coaches go because we kind of saw, like Will said, the CEO thing and like with defense, Joe Witt Jr. ain't working. So he had to kind of come down off the pedestal and help them and do it like this. So now you're wondering, is this the time that you're going to bring in a newer guy to work with your young quarterback to see if he can, if your job is on the line, essentially? Like that's going to be very concerning to me. And also, we talked about, we also got a newest quarterbacks coach today, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're right. We did get a new one, but before we jump on that, I just want to speak on the thinking of why they chose Bilal over anybody else, like a Mike McDaniels. Like, I know that was one of my first names to bring up. Mike McDaniels, honestly, I like the way he calls games. I like the running back first. I think he would have even excelled in our offense coming into DC. We give him a few more weapons, and I think he would have probably been a top 5 offense if he came here. But I think the team did not want to wait for him. And I think with our experience, it's called the Shanahan tree. And with our experience of basically having these great coaches at the beginning of their careers and then basically letting them go and going to everywhere else but here and succeed, it's an issue. And I think that was one of the things that they wanted to jump on. And they were like, okay, we've already let 7 coaches out the door. We can't let another one. And to top it off, he is really close with JD5. We're not trying again, and we already let Cliff go. So I think this was one of those things. It's like we can't piss off our franchise quarterback. So that's basically why I think they made the move and so fast. Also,
yeah. Will, what you think, man?
Yeah, I agree with everything Ab is saying. I think, Dan Quinn actually went through this in Atlanta. He let Kyle Shanahan go to go become the head coach. Well, I mean, I think he became the head coach of the 49ers, but he took Matt LaFleur went out the building and Mike McDaniel went him. I think LaFleur went to the Rams. So he let these young assistants leave him once before, and they flourished when given a more of an opportunity. And so, you kind of wonder, did he learn from that? Did he realize, sometimes you got to be 1 year early than be too late to it? I definitely think, though, we can sit here and say that we took a step back at offensive coordinator, at least I feel right now. As a fan going into the offseason and wondering how they're going to construct this team. They know what happened in the building. They know what the quarterback's room was like. And when he took over as quarterback's coach, when Tavita Pritchard left, they know a whole lot more than we do. But we went from having a guy who was a former head coach who's been an offensive or coordinated offenses for a while to now we got a guy who's never called plays in a live game before. Like that's not exactly even going lateral at all. So I think there's a little bit. I mean, this is a big risk by Dan Quinn. But there is one thing about it that I think is a positive, not just the fact that he's a rising star. There's a chance, like Ab said, we jumped on it because he could have gone to Detroit. He could have gone elsewhere, if we didn't make a move. But as we try to, and we talk about some fixing some of the positions on offense, we now have a guy who was in-house for both years, who saw the good in 2024 and the bad in 2025. And he can give some insight in what he wants to do from an offense with our own personnel to say, who works or what does he need that this offense is missing? So that could be a positive.
I like that. And then to the point I was making earlier, Ab, we were talking about obviously Tavita Pritchard. He's now the head coach at Stanford. So we needed a quarterback's coach, and we got one. And he's connected to a legend, or a Washington legend.
Yeah.
My God.
I don't know too much of it. This is news that just came in before we jumped on, but we got Doug Williams' son as our new quarterbacks coach, taking over Bilal's job, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't have much to say about it, but maybe a little nepotism in there, but hey, hey,
if he's connected to Doug, I'm okay with it. All right.
Who else did it and it failed? Pete Carroll.
Oh.
We won't
Bill Belichick
issue until
Bill's doing it right now.
Until it's a firing. So
right.
His previous role last year, he was the quarterback's coach at Atlanta. And then he was also the offensive assistant in New Orleans from 2019 to 2023. He worked with Kirk Cousins the year that he set a record. And then obviously, like you said, his father is the great, I will always say great, Doug Williams, my guy. So they talk about keeping everything in-house. definitely doing that. And who knows? We'll see how it works. Now, real quick, I did want to also talk about, Will and I talked about this last week, Joe Witt Jr. The writing was kind of on the wall. We saw, deep into the season, he lost his job at calling plays, and Dan Quinn took over. Then obviously now he's out. What are your thoughts on that, and maybe even some of the rumors on potentially somebody we might be bringing in, or at least interviewing? Ab.
Oh, I'm sorry. So the writing was on the wall with Joe Witt. And honestly, it was on the wall since last year. So there's been issues, and I don't know. Like, I think we wanted it to work because it looked like it went well in Dallas. But when you have bottom of the league defenses 2 years in a row, or 1.5 years in a row, you really, like, there's nothing really to say about that, and yes, injuries are an issue, like, honestly, but to a certain point you can only use that as an excuse, like, and it's just, we needed to do more. Something needed to happen. We need to get these guys in the right places. We need to start playing the younger guys and everything like that. And it sucks that we waited until we were out of contention, like playoff contention pretty much, before we started making any real changes. But yeah, apparently, as far as DC, big name that I'm looking forward to. I mean, this guy is, he has a little bit of controversy with his name, but this guy has actually, he's a known figure in the league. And man, I honestly, if he does not get a head coaching job, I'll hope he moves over here. But Brian Flores is interviewing for us. And honestly, I think that's probably the top name for defensive coordinators out there. But honestly, he's done enough in the last few years to be a head coach. And honestly, I pray he does get a head coaching job, because that's how much he deserves it. Even though we need that boy bad over here, he deserves a head coaching job. It's ridiculous what this man does with defenses, and he's been doing it for so many years. But again, the controversy behind his name is scary, because I think it's just going to be a Colin Kaepernick kind of situation with him, if in finding a head coaching job. But yeah, if he can't find one because of that, please just come over to DC, bro.
Oh shoot, I would love it if he came over to DC. And real quick before you answer, Will, no, Nathan, no, we're not getting Zach over.
You guys doesn't like Zach over,
right? We don't want him. No, that is not happening. What are your thoughts on Flores or whatever move we make for DC?
Yeah, so Flores is absolutely every team that has a defensive opening, everybody's number one target, because he's in a rare situation where his contract expired. So he's a free agent coach right now. So he's just making his rounds and saying, okay, well, let me see what you got. Let me see what you got. I'm with Ab, where with 9 openings right now, how does he not get a head coaching job with what he did in Minnesota? That would just not make any sense. Like, yeah, he sued the league. He had his issues in Miami, but he's gone to Pittsburgh and he's rehabbed his image with Mike Tomlin. He's gone now to Minnesota and showed, hey, this is how I became a head coach. This is how I was given the job in Miami. So there should be another opening for him. And if that doesn't happen, then you got to think he'd go back to Minnesota, where he was having so much success. So I don't think we're in play here, but I love that they're talking to him. I would love for them even just sit down and say, what do you see? What would you fix about our defense? Tomorrow, they interview the guy who I was really excited about as well. Jonathan Gannon will be in the building. I love that too, because let's hear from what happened in Philly, how they built their defense. And once again, I'd be interested in him as a candidate. And then I think in the next week or so, from what I heard from the podcast I listened to this week, they think by the time we're on a podcast next week on Wednesday, we may have a defensive coordinator in place, because the coaching hirings are going to begin pretty soon. And what we're waiting on right now is what happens in Atlanta. Does, whoever Atlanta hires, do they get to keep Jeff Ulbrich? Does he become open? I believe they've interviewed or are talking to the Titans defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson, who Simmons, their defensive tackle, loves. So that's kind of a positive right there, based on, if he's coming from Tennessee, where, arguably the league's best interior defensive player is really likes him. So I think we're going to get something soon, but there's too many dominoes out here. Kind of like when we talked about with David Blau, they got their guy because they couldn't wait. Like with defensive coordinator, we're waiting on who becomes a head coach. And if you don't become a head coach, are you available to be a defensive coordinator?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I like this question. Do you feel that this is the offseason depth and free agency? DC will have what he needs to be successful. In other words, basically looking at the roster, we're going to talk about probably DC next week, but our defense next week. But do we have the pieces? Or do you think a coach looks at our defensive roster and says, yes, I want to come in there and potentially create over there? Or is he sitting here like, it's going to take a while to get that stuff together?
Well, I hope they're not saying it's going to take a while, because we don't have a while. We don't have it. Right. I hope there's nothing there for them to be excited about, other than the fact that we have money and there's some free agents that are available. So to sort of answer Nathan's question tonight, because we are going to talk defense, do what we're doing tonight for offense, we're going to do next week. There are pieces in free agency that I think we could add that will be helpful to then complement to the draft. But I don't think we got anything to be like, yeah, come look at us. Come be our defensive coordinator. It's all got to be Dan Quinn selling skills.
Mm-hmm. What you think, Ab?
You guys know I'm all about the money, and yeah, granted we're pretty high up there in cap space, but we also got some of them. I want to say we got some of the most guys we have to sign also to have a full roster. Mm-hmm. So that right there takes a good chunk of money out every year, and we've been doing it
real quick. That's a big point right there. Because I won't name names, but people on these Facebook chats and Facebook groups sitting here talking about, oh, we got all this money, and are totally disregarding the fact that we got people we got to pay, incentives, all this stuff in-house. So let's pump our brakes with just looking at a ballpark number and saying we can do this, this, this. Because to your point, Ab, that was a brilliant, as a perfect point, that we still have to take care of things in-house. Let's, thank you for clarifying that, because that's huge.
I don't want to say nothing, but right, you guys know how much I hate to say that I'm right.
hate to say that I've been telling you all for more than a year.
I hate it so much.
Hold up. This man, when we were 3-3, said, you know what? I think we might need to start looking at trading some of these guys and getting ahead of it. And I'm like, man, the season ain't even nowhere near over. What you talk about? He's like, I'm just saying, I just think we need to make this happen. And bruh, he was right.
I hate to say that I'm right, but I've been saying it for years, man, that this is because it's been, especially since Adam Peters been here. It's just the way that he's introduced free agency, and it's not getting better, honestly. And I have to do more research, but it almost seems like we're not getting any better either with how he does it. Having to sign like 20 20 guys in free agency in order to have a full roster. That's not the way, bro. That is not it. And I know Ron Rivera era is pretty bad, but we're not signing 20-something guys every offseason in order to have a full roster. So these 1-year contracts, I said this 2 years ago, these 1-year contracts is not it. It's not the way you move. It's not how you build a team. And that essentially, that's what you're trying to do. So, yeah, I don't like how we're moving forward, because there's nothing to really look forward to. And there's no players to sit there and be like, I can do this with them. Like, we have a handful of guys, like key players, and it's not promising. It really isn't. Like, literally, we're going to have to go in free agency. Again, this is just talking before I do my research. I think we're going to have to go through free agency and actually sign do what Houston did a few years ago, New England did a few years ago, and sign long-term contracts with real guys, like legitimate core guys. Yeah, and I think that's the move that might have to be done this year.
We do. Because we all talk about it, we don't have development. We're not developing guys in here. You know what I mean? We're not growing these guys up. You look at these draft picks that we've made, and it's like, these guys aren't popping. You know what I mean? Like, they tried to sell us on this guy and that guy from the draft. I'm named two names that come into my mind are linebackers, McGee and Medrano. It's like, Medrano, that was his first year, so we'll see. But they're not moving up like we're expecting year two. They're moving year three. And that says something more about maybe potentially coaches. Because to your point, we have to get 1-year deals with these guys and really heavily incentivize it. So maybe they'll play great for us this 1 year, but then what ends up happening? They go elsewhere. You know what I mean? So, yeah, to that point, it's going to be interesting to see. Will, it's probably going to have to go to free agency and the draft and all that, but it's crazy.
Yep, I'm not going to play too much spoiler for next week, but absolutely, we need probably at least four starters. We need a starter on every level on the defense. So yeah, Adam Peters is going to have to. He's going to cook this free agency if he's going to get something done, because he's got to earn his money this free agency, which and also is what I'm excited about.
Yeah. Year three. All right, so we told you we're going to get into this offense, but before we do, we're going to take a quick breather and shout out our guy, Anton Benton, Awesome Artisans. We'll be right back. Yeah, buddy, that is our guy, Anton Benton, the founder of Awesome Artisans. You can find him on Instagram and on Facebook. On Instagram, it's awesome_artisans. The guy does great work inside and outside of the house. He travels. I know he goes up and down the East Coast. He's living in Virginia Beach, and then he also goes to the Midwest. So definitely check him out. Matter of fact, a shout out to our guy Nathan Snell. I think he put in a walk-in closet for his family. So the guy does good work. Definitely contact him. But look, this is Washington Football Weekly. We appreciate you guys being here with us on this Wednesday. The off season for us has begun. Obviously, Wild Card Weekend has been completed. We are not here. It feels different, guys. It feels different. A year ago, what a difference a year makes. I mean, a year ago, we're sitting here looking at Gonzalez fix his hair 100 times before he kicks the game winner to get us to the divisional against the Lions. And now it's just like
we were ready to have this conversation 8 weeks ago. That's the problem.
Right. It's like, come on, man. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? So, we are going to move on, and we got to get into this offense. We have to get in. Obviously, with now having David Blau as our offensive coordinator, we have a new quarterbacks coach. Now we need to see, looking at the roster, we already talked about defense. We got to look at our offense and that roster construction. Each position, QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and offensive line, my favorite. So let's get into this and let's start right at the top. We'll come to you. Obviously, we got our guy in Jayden Daniels. He is the golden child. Obviously, we're building the franchise around this man. We have also had as a backup Marcus Mariota, who has been a great fill-in and a great mentor to Jayden. And at third, we brought in a couple guys. At one point, we had Jeff Driscoll. Sam Hartman was on the bench, just flinging his hair. Josh Johnson ended up coming in, which is full circle because he was in here. What was it? 2019? Is that when he came in for us in 2018? The year before Chase Young, right? Wasn't he the one that
Dwayne Haskins?
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's crazy. Bring it all the way back, but we are here. So, Will, I'm coming to you, quarterback. I know Mariota is a free agent. We got to see if we're going to sign him. And after that, we don't know if we have anybody right now. So, what are your thoughts? Where would you go at backup? Would you re-sign Mariota or go up?
So, this is kind of a really interesting position group to watch because 2 weeks ago, when I started putting my list together, Marcus Mariota was my number one must re-sign on offense. And now his coach is gone. So I don't know if Marcus Mariota is going to re-sign in DC. Yes, he has said a little bit of like, I'd like to see if there's opportunities to start, but it would be smart for him to follow the coach that has made him look the best as he ever has in his career. I mean, if Marcus Mariota started playing this way when he was at Tennessee, he probably wouldn't have been at Tennessee for 10 years, but he probably would have stayed there a little bit longer. He maybe would have gotten a second contract, potentially. So I think he should go wherever Cliff goes, potentially. It all depends on where Cliff goes, because if Cliff becomes the offensive coordinator for Jesse Minter in Baltimore, then there's no reason – yeah, Nate, I said that for you. Then there's no reason for Mariota to go there because Lamar doesn't really get hurt. So you're not giving yourself a chance to play. But what if Cliff were to go become the offensive coordinator for Jim Schwartz in Cleveland? If I'm Marcus Mariota, do I want to say I'll compete with Shedeur? I think I can beat Shedeur. Who knows? He's obviously going to know the offense better. Or wherever Cliff goes, if there's an opportunity to potentially start off as the quarterback, he's going to know the offense the best. That could happen. If that doesn't happen, I would absolutely love to have Mariota back here. What I struggle to say what we need to do with the quarterback room because I don't know what David Blau is going to be looking for. His mentors are Cliff, who runs the air raid, but then before that, he was around Ben Johnson and he was around KOC. Those guys don't have mobile quarterbacks, so it's not the same type of offense that he's got to run. So I look at who's available, and that kind of changes. Like, oh gosh, I don't know. Yeah. Going into this, I was like, well, if we lose Mariota, what if we went and got like a Trey Lance, or what if we swapped and got Tyler Huntley from the Ravens because they could do the Cliff offense. But now that that's gone, I mean, do you look at a Gardner Minshew coming off an ACL injury as someone? Do we bring in Sam Howell as our number 3 and see what we can develop?
Three?
I don't know.
3, 2,
Honestly,
2?
if you look on Spot Track's NFL free agency, not 2, Sean, no. It's like there's nothing really out here that's exciting. So I'm going to be honest and say, like, it's a really important spot because Jaden has gotten hurt in each of the 2 seasons. I don't have an answer as to who should be the backup, though.
No, and it's crazy. And I'm coming to you. When you look at this list of free agents, there's like 4 or 5 names of quarterbacks that have been with us over the. I mean, you got a Case Keenum over here. You got a Kyle Allen, Josh Johnson, Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? And then you have Brett Rippon, who's a connection to, his uncle, and then Sam Howell. So yeah, to your point, Will, it's none of those names make me jump for joy or any of that. So what are you doing, Ab? Are you keeping Mariota? Are you trying to give him whatever he wants, or are you trying to go to the draft? Like, what are you thinking at quarterback?
So I think backup quarterback is one of the most underrated positions, underrated important positions that there is on the field. And I think we've gotten it right the past 2 years. Now, I think we pay more than other teams for that position also, but it's also because we go year to year on that position too. And like, honestly, it's just like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And Mariota did a good job. Like, the reason why we lost these games when JD5 wasn't in the game, it wasn't because of Mariota. So honestly, like, I re-signed the man. And one thing that we didn't say why we hired Bilal is because we're hoping that he brings a little bit of Cliff and a little bit of Ben Johnson into the league, into our team also. So, and I think Mariota would be able to excel in those positions. That's if he wants to come back. Now, let me say this also. You have a choice of three quarterbacks to have a second/third chance at being a starter. Are you going to pick Mariota, Mac Jones, or there's one more there. I'm sorry, guys. Malik Willis. Which one are you going to pick?
To be a starter for my team?
Yes.
And I was impressed by what I saw at the end of the year from Malik. I will say that.
Yes,
I wonder
absolutely
how well he'll be in our offense.
I worry about it if that was coaching created, but Malik looked the best.
I'm not saying for our team. I'm saying in general.
Oh yeah.
In general.
So if I was starting a team and I needed a starter, Malik Willis would probably be the guy I'd go to.
And then Mac Jones, because of how he handled himself in San Francisco.
He can win. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And him as a backup, backups don't just win 8 games in the year. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like he did a Sam Darnold from last year. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think those 2 guys are going to get starting jobs. I don't think there's going to be a starting job for Mariota. It's about him realizing that, and if he wants to come back. You get what I'm saying? So in saying that, Mariota, come back, please. There's nothing else out there. Go find out.
Come back.
But come back, please.
Yes. and to your point, 100% the backup quarterback is one of the most underrated positions, because the minute your starter goes down, and we've noted that throughout history, but also this year, you need to have that guy that at least steady the waters. So yeah, that's a huge deal. But also with Mariota, and I think this is something that we mentioned in JD5's first year. What you can't measure on a field is that connection and that ability to mentor a younger guy. You know what I mean? How many times have we seen starting quarterbacks? First name that comes to mind is Ryan Tannehill, who's saying it's not my job to train this guy up. It's not my job to him to come take my job X, Y, and Z. Now we know Jaden is the starter and Mariota's the backup, but still to be able to work with a guy and train him, somebody that you're essentially in competition with, and say, hey, work with him and really get his head right, that's a big deal. And you can't, there's no price that you could put on that, bringing a guy like that in. So I right there on board with you. I want him to stay in-house. Also looking at this free agency list, it's like, yeah.
I'll say the price is less than $10 million a year.
Well, yeah. There is that price, yes.
I'll say that, bro. That's the price.
Right. Yo, let's keep it moving. Let's move on to our position. And Ab, I'm going to come to you. Running back, obviously, Eckler gets injured, and he is actually unrestricted free agent now. But we also had Bill, Corey Cross-Kemerit, McNichols, and Rodriguez this last year. We struggled with the run game, so that is going to be interesting to see what Blau wants to do with the run. Now, the running back free agency is a lot higher, a lot more backs out there, a lot more guys available. So, I like our chances here. But Ab, what are you thinking as far as running backs? Who are you keeping, and are you looking outside?
So McNichols, Rodriguez, and Eckler are all free agents next year.
Yep.
Rodriguez is a restricted free agent, but still. So pretty much Bill is the only one really that we know right now to come back.
Right.
I think you have a rare opportunity to try and do something different. You have a rare opportunity to try and even upgrade at a position. And I'm not saying they weren't the problem, because until we have a 1,000-yard runner, that is a problem to me. Mm-hmm. So free agency, and I know a lot of people are going to want to see Bill start and everything like that. And so I guess like maybe you go the rookie route, like with one of our maybe with the first round pick, we go to what's the guy from Notre Dame?
Love, Jeremiah Love.
Love. Yeah, mm-hmm. Maybe we go Love in the first round. And then you see Bill and Love scrap it out between the two. You get what I'm saying? That's a competition right there. If not, we still need to replenish the position. I don't think you go too hard in free agency for it. You maybe go like a popular name out there is Rachaad White from Tampa Bay. I see quite a few people say that. Dowdle.
Oh, Rico. Oh yeah, from the Panthers.
Yes, man, that guy's special, and honestly, and he's still like 27 years old. So to me, I don't think he did enough to get to warrant a big contract. So maybe will save us from spending a top draft pick on a running back if we go we sign him and we have Bill, and then we could go that way and then fill the remaining spots with maybe re-sign McNichols or Rodriguez. We've been re-signing Rodriguez all for years now, so that's probably the route I would go. So my final answer, I would say Dowdle, because I don't think it'll cost much to bring him in, and he can compete with Bill. And can we have a two-headed monster? But I think Dowdle will win. Rico would win. But, yeah, I think that'll be the move to make.
Okay. I like that. And then, yeah, there is a number of guys in free agency to potentially look at. But and I think I love Jeremiah Love. I would love to go there, and I'd even look at the backup. Price at Notre Dame is also quality that we could potentially get later on. But there's a couple of guys coming out that I think we could potentially get. If not first round, potentially second round. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, those guys are potentially
We
coming out.
don't have a second round, Sean.
Oh, we don't have.
Yeah. We have a 1, a 3, and like a 5. Maybe we have a 4th. I'm not sure if we do.
No, 1, 3, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 7. I want to
Yeah.
say that's what it is.
So
It's
unless
dire.
unless they trade for another draft pick, that might not be. So it might be free agency. I don't know. We'll see. Will, what you think?
So this is probably the first time I've ever said this on here. I actually think it's worth spending some money in free agency on a running back. And I am usually very anti that. I love Ab's idea of Rico Dowdle because, and we know he's leaving Carolina. He talks smack on his way out, saying they didn't use me enough in these last couple of games. So he is mad. And I think it would be a situation where if you're going that route where you're giving Bill an opportunity, you're not shelving Bill, but you're giving someone who can kind of work with him. So I look at these running backs 3 different ways. It's 3 different styles of running backs. So you've got your do everythings. And that's where I would say if you wanted to go after the home run, if you wanted to go after that Philly route and say we're putting our chips in on Breece Hall, that would be the top running back available. I'm not saying do it, but he is your chips in on this guy. Then you've got Rachaad White as well. That was a good pickup ad. Then there's one other one that I think is good. He will be a free agent, and I think they're going to let him go. Seattle had a regressed year running. And so if you're struggling running, why would you re-sign a running back out of your group that isn't doing well? And thank goodness I did not draft this guy in fantasy again. I did last year, and he was great. And that's Kenneth Walker. And those 3 are kind of under they can do everything type running backs. They can run, they can catch. I mean, Walker's a heck of a pass receiver as well. So if you're looking for the guy that's really that's our number 1, those are 3 names I think we could look at. If you're looking for someone to be the pass catching type, there's a guy I love. And if you're kind of trying to replace that Austin Eckler role there, he's coming from Pittsburgh and he shined his last couple games. It's Kenneth Gainwell. He's a veteran.
He's out. Oh, yeah. The dude is legit.
Right. And so if you're, I think we kind of all have an agreement that Bill's part of the equation. And so we're not necessarily, if you sign Breece Hall, you're kind of saying, Bill, we'll give you some touches. But everybody else out there, it's like Bill is part of this running back by committee, that we would have. So I think Gainwell could be a really good piece of the puzzle. The other one that would be simply pass catching would be Jaleel McLaughlin. He's out of Denver, and they actually like him a lot. They just don't give him enough opportunities. So that could be someone, but he's he's smaller. So he is your pass catching only. Then I got guys that are like the runners. How are we going to replace Chris Rodriguez? Dowdle was one of the names I thought of. The other guy would be out of Atlanta, Tyler Algier. And if you pick him up, you're kind of doing a thunder lightning with Bill and him. So, I think there's absolutely some opportunities here. And I think that this is finally a year that it's worth spending a little bit of money. I don't think we need to be giving $15 million, to any of these guys. Hall would be about the only one who might. I don't know numbers well enough, but I think we need to bring in a free agent back that's going to be competing to be our number 1. Absolutely.
Oh, I like that.
Ford is a good name too. I think Ford was underutilized in Cleveland, and he's like one of those pass catchers. If we wanted someone, if we're going strictly replacing Eckler, Ford is a good name.
Okay. Definitely underutilized. Came out of Cincinnati that year that they went with like Desmond Ritter and Sauce Gardner, and they ended up playing Alabama and the one of the last BCSs or whatever. So Ford is a legitimate downhill runner. I like that pickup. So are we moving on from Eckler? Would you guys potentially try to bring him back?
Career's over.
Oh, is it done?
No, I think his career is over.
I it's hard, you know, like this is where I don't like our team. I sometimes I think we're too loyal sometimes, you know. Like with Eckler and Ertz, like this is potentially like end of their careers, and I think they might do a pity signing kind of thing, like instead of just being business, like, hey, I know you got this season-ending injury with us, but we're going to move on. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, I really like I pray that that's not what they do, and I really think that it's just because even signing them this year, I think was pushing it. Like, probably was. I don't know if there was much more to sit there and try and sign, but I think just they were pushing it this year to sign both of those guys, and what happened? They got hurt, you know. So they need to find replacements for these
More
guys.
reliable replacements.
We need to get better at these positions.
Yeah.
Nathan's got a good question there, but honestly, Nathan, I don't know if we know what Blau wants in his system.
Exactly.
It's a big unknown.
Yeah. I mean, we had questions this past year about what our identity was, and this is a huge question mark for us. What is David Blau going to do? Is he going to keep things the way that Cliff had them running, or is he going to implement some of his style?
Ab, you go, then I got something to share.
Okay, so if I'm going on the theory of he wants to have if Washington wants to do a little bit of Ben Johnson and Cliff, what if they go with Love, y'all, and say we need a Jahmyr Gibbs type of man, like a Bijan Robinson type of guy, and like, hey, Bill, we love you, but we cannot pass up the second coming of these two guys. Number 7.
With that.
Like, what if that's the case, man? That would be so dumb. Man, I would love it, man. I love it.
There's a way. There's a way, Ab. I don't know the numbers, but next week I'm going to share. There's a way. If you want Love to be your splash guy on the offense, next week I will say how we do it.
All right.
Let's go. Oh man.
Here's what I was thinking of. Cliff got a lot of heat because being air raid and not running the ball enough. And there absolutely were times where he should have been criticized. Like there's games where like Rodriguez would pound it all the way to the 2-yard line, and then we throw 3 times from the 2. But you also, I think, honestly, Cliff could also say, you MFers gave me a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, and a 7th-round pick, and said, go into the season with them. And a guy who's 31 and that gets hurt every season. So, like, I can sort of honestly, if he sits there and says, I'm going to do what got me this job, and I'm going to throw the ball. Like, I sort of get it a little bit.
Yep, you're right. And look, so speaking of throwing the ball, in order to be successful at that, you need good wide receivers. Obviously, there was a number of injuries this year, including Terry, Noah Brown. Obviously Zacchaeus was no longer with us. I mean, within Ertz gets hurt late, but that's separate. We'll talk about tight ends. But talk to me, Will. What's your thoughts? Wide receiver. Do you try to re-sign in-house? There's a number of names of free agency and in draft. What are you thinking, man?
I'm spending money. I am dishing out some contracts. I'm not bringing back Debo. I just think we need to go in a different direction, and I just don't know if he's going to sign for anything. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not doing it. And I also am going to say this year was completely incomplete with his performance or the offensive performance with Terry and him. And he actually, he had numbers wise, he had a good season. And I'm not going away from Debo because he didn't produce this year. I want to go in a different direction. And I think there are 2 receivers that excite me way more than bringing back Debo would. So I'm spending money on Packers wide receiver Romeo Doubs.
Ooh, I like that.
Because Green Bay has an offense that already has Christian Watson. They drafted Matthew Golden. They have the tight end who was their leading receiver until he got hurt. They have the guy Jalen Reed as well, number 11. And so I just don't think that Dobbs is the guy for Green Bay that they're going to say, if we cannot lose this. So I'm going to be going, I'm spending money on Dobbs as a guy who's like, now he can become a team's number 2. He's got size. He's got speed. I'm really interested in him. If I can't get him, because his price tag could get high, he could be a very well sought after free agent. This guy actually, I don't know if this team's going to let him out the building. And if they do, he may cost more than Dobbs. I'm trying to bring in Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, remember you and I liked him in the draft coming out of Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. He tore up this season for them. And he's always been a big receiver, but he became a downfield threat. And that was everyone's concern with him coming out of the draft is he fast enough? He led them in touchdowns, I'm pretty sure. Now, I don't know if they're going to let him leave the building. I'm not sure if they gave Pittman a big contract, but he became their best receiver. They did sign Pittman to a big contract, so that could be problematic for them. But, I think he's the team's best receiver. So those would be 2 guys, if I'm going to spend some money, I'm looking at. I would like to bring Burks back, but he hasn't shown anything for me to say, yeah, we'll bring you back. We'll let you compete to be one of our receivers. You might be able to be our 4, but he didn't really show me anything to be like, yep, he can be my 2. He could be my 3. Maybe they saw more. I also think we got to get faster at wide receiver. One of the things we really missed this year was having anybody that could go deep and scare the defense. And so I'm offering a contract to try and make the team to a guy who blew up in the playoffs. And they call him Playoff Yami.
So something happened to Will. I don't know what happened to him, but he's talking gibberish, so he had to be removed for this. Okay.
I am not done.
We are not
done.
Bringing in that guy. No, I veto that.
I am, and I'll tell you why. Because he was inactive for Jacksonville. Clearly, they saw that giving him $10 million a year was a stupid mistake. But if you look at last year's offense.
Wait, are you talking about Dyami Brown?
Yes.
I'm talking about Dyami Brown.
Why do you think I took him off the camera?
Okay, you gotta listen to me here. Don't get emotional here. All right. I'm bringing back Dyami Brown with a chance to be a 5th or 6th wide receiver, because right now, who did we have on this offense that could run past people the way we had in 2024? We didn't have anybody. That could do it,
but he couldn't catch,
and he didn't do it. Yeah, he didn't do it. I'm not saying like Dyami Brown's my prize free agent acquisition here, but I'm saying I'm bringing him back. Just like I'm trying to bring back Olamide Zaccheaus to be a part of the team, make him compete. They're not being guaranteed anything. The only person I'm guaranteeing anything would be if I got brought in a Dobbs or Pierce. But I want speed. I want Hollywood Brown. I want Tutu Atwell, Rashid Shaheed. I need some guys who can stretch the field because we are slow on offense. So that is why I see Dyami Brown as I will give you a 1-year contract to try and make this squad type guy. Now you guys can go. You're emotional.
This guy. No.
And Nathan's a part of it. Nathan's having heart attacks over here.
No. Not doing it. Only guy I really like, and this is more, I'm thinking 3rd down. I'm thinking who's a route artist, and that's Hunter Renfrow. He just turned 30, but it's going to be a small contract. Honestly, he as a number 3, number 4 guy, somebody that on a 3rd down we need a big catch. That'd be somewhere that we can go. I've always liked him at wide receiver. Ab, what do you think?
If we go on bargain bin, why not go Marquise Brown? You know what I mean?
I saw that too.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's like, honestly, like Dyami Brown, like I'm not, they they sat him out in Jacksonville literally like the second half of the season. So, you know, there was a reason why they did that, because they were down Travis Hunter. And they were down BSJ, Brian
Thomas.
BTJ. Brian Thomas. They were down Brian Thomas for a good minute too. And so they were down both their starting wide receivers, and they still didn't even play his ass. So there had to be a reason for that. Like I caught that real quick. But
absolutely.
The reason why I was saying that we needed to when I was talking about the draft, I was trying to say that we were I wasn't trying to draft Love, and my reason for that is because I wanted to hold that position for our 1A wide receiver, 1A, 1B wide receiver. I think, and I've been saying this for years, guys, I think it's that time that we latch on and we get our JSN, our BTJ. Like we need our guy that's, while our number one is still here, he's building up to be our number one. And so I'm saying that, who I don't know who is top wide receiver. There's a guy from Arizona, Tyson, I think. Is that Arizona, Sean? Tyson?
I'm thinking about it right now. I'd have to look. Keep going. Okay. I'll look it up.
I think so. Jordan Tyson?
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure who's top wide receiver, but 7 is a good number, and especially top. If this is the top wide receiver, top 10, they usually work out well, guys. So honestly, that's where I'm going for. Like, we can spend money on wide receiver 3, but we got Burke, we got Lane, we got McCaffrey. You get what I'm saying? Like, so we got our backups already, you know what I'm saying? But we need a number 2. And if we're not going to catch on to Debo, number 7 in the draft is a great place to pick up our 1A, 1B wide receiver.
Yeah, Tyson out of Arizona State, 6'2", 200, runs 4.5.
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be. I think it's important. Yeah, no, it would be a great spot to get a big impact player. It's important for us to like kind of think about is they realized that we needed a number 2 last year and they went for it. And so, maybe they find another type draft, a trade that they can go after. I fully believe that this front office and DQ knows we need an upgrade at wide receiver, just like they did last year. And they brought in Debo. So I think we're going to, when we go into mini camp June's mini camp, we are going to have a legit person at the second wide receiver spot. I just don't know if it's, like you said, can they go through the draft for it, or are they going to be able to find someone in free agency or trade? But I'm really excited about this because I really do think they realize they need someone opposite Terry to catch the damn ball because no one could.
Yeah.
And three balls to Terry a game is not ideal, guys. It really isn't.
Nope.
And especially when everybody else, they're not even really considered playmakers, especially when they're getting the ball. So we need to be able to do something else when everybody but Terry is getting the ball.
Yeah, we need far more production from that position. And to your point, teams know as soon as we double up or triple up Terry, nobody else is getting it. So we need somebody else to help take the defense, take off the top of the defense. I love speed. I love production.
You love Diami. You love speed.
I do not love Diami. I do not love Diami.
I love the idea that Nathan's saying about Tyreek Hill. I would be all about Tyreek Hill. I don't know what's going to take. He's not a free agent. So what is Miami going to want for him? I have no idea.
No, they're going to release him. They can release him without any dead cap, I believe. I can do some.
Nice. Yeah, that would definitely be an option.
No, definitely go there. All right, let's move right along. Obviously, I alluded to it earlier. Obviously, Zach Ertz probably is, if not done, he is on his literal last leg And then you have Bates, you have Yankoff, and you have Sinnott at tight end.
Mhm.
Bates, obviously, we've known him as a blocking tight end. Sinnott, we expected him to be more of a pass catcher, but kind of similar to who was it, Cole Turner that we had. Never really has still yet to take off. Really, yeah. Yankoff is obviously doesn't get much time in the offensive play calling and all that stuff, but is I think a Pro Bowler and special teams. Did he make the Pro Bowl this year?
Who?
No. Okay.
No.
Oh, who am I thinking of? Belor? Who made
Nick
the
Ballore.
Belor? That's what I'm thinking. So not Yakov. So yes. So cancel that. But yeah. So what? Ab, will come to you. What do you think we do first with Ertz? Because I know you said we might give him just a deal like, hey, out of respect. But obviously he's not going to be. He already was not fast. So
Before Tyreek Hill, they can cut or trade him, and it would be they'll save 23 million. So that looks like the route that they might do. But he's coming off an injury, so I don't know who will trade for him coming off injury at 31, 32 years old. So yeah, he'll be 32 by next season. So yeah, that's slow down time for wide receivers. So
Mhm.
and nobody's going to want to pay. No one's going to want to pay like 30 million a year for a banged up 30-plus-year-old wide receiver. So it looks like they're going to have to cut him.
Yeah.
My bad. You talking about tight end, Sean? So again, I pray that they don't do this, but I kind of feel like they might do the pity contract with him with Ertz, but I just think we need to move forward. We need to move on. Likely is out there. And they might not even sign Likely in Baltimore because they signed Andrews. They re-upped on Andrews in the middle of the year this past season. So yeah, that's one right there. And then oh man, there's another one. Oh, it's Likely and
Kyle Pitts.
Pitts. Yeah, there you go. Those are my
The big
dreams,
one.
guys. Those are my dreams, guys. Like honestly, those guys are like the optimal choices. Like they're the 1As and 1Bs of the tight end because they're young and they're fast. Honestly, I don't think they use Likely right in Baltimore. And I mean, they had everything else in Baltimore, so I understand why, but now we could use him right. Honestly, he'd probably, no lie, he'd probably be 1B on our offense if he was here. There's Naganu, Njoku. Yeah,
yes.
he's available. He's hurt all the time, but he's under 30. So
and with Harold Fannin Jr. taking off out there in Cleveland,
yeah, they're not going to
Right.
They're not going to resign him, so he's going to be he'll be available. He's not going to be top tier money either. So honestly, that might be a realistic option for us if we're not trying to spend top dollars on Likely or Pitts.
Yeah, I like that. Will, what are you thinking?
So we don't know what David Blau's offense is going to be, but we do know that the two guys he's learned the most from, Ben Johnson, and then he was with Minnesota, so KOC, neither one of those, or you look at what in their offense, what type of tight end do they have? They don't have a Isaiah Likely, Kyle Pitts style tight end. They go for more of that guy who has ability to block and catch passes. So with that coming to mind, I think they may look at what they have in-house first as can that fill the role? Ben Sinnott is more of a fullback. If you look at what's happening in San Francisco, the way they use Kyle Juszczyk, that's kind of the role that Ben Sinnott may thrive in a little bit more. But I'm curious if they would see if he could come on a little bit more as a kind of as just a tight end. They also really like Colson Yankov. They actually think Yankov is the best receiver of the three of them, which is a little bit problematic that we drafted Sinnott in the second round, and then an undrafted free agent is a better receiver than him. But if so, I'm curious what they do with this room. But if they're going to go after, so I'm kind of like agreeing with what Nathan Snell is saying right here. I got two names for him. I'm pulling a different guy from the Ravens, and that's Charlie Kohler. Would be someone that I might have some interest in.
Iowa State.
But the guy that I have the one I have the most interest in is a guy who can block, he can catch, is going to be out of Tampa Bay, and that's Cade Otton. That is who I would go after to join our tight end room.
I like that. I like both of those.
Yeah, some guy named Alo says Bates is a good run blocker.
All right. I just heard he's right a lot. That's all I've heard. Nate said, what about Darnell Washington? Big O.
So they got an over and abundance.
Nathan, he's naming guys that aren't free agents.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But Pittsburgh has an over and abundance of tight ends, and none of them are free agents next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to say they have like four legit.
Ab had to educate us. Yeah.
They are, yeah. None of them are. Yeah, because I was asking about Freiermuth. I would love that. So that's I think we're all kind of.
I wanted Johnny Smith. So.
Right. I think we're on the same page on tight end. All right, now let's go to the position that I actually feel like we put in some work on this off season, and I was kind of happy with how we did. Our offensive line, obviously, we know about getting Connerly in the draft. We made the big trade for Tunsil. We got Cosme back midway through the season, with Allegretti and what's the center's name?
Badass.
Biadasz.
Yes, Biadasz. I liked what we were able to do, but at the same time, we really couldn't get that run game going. What are your thoughts, Ab? I'll come to you. What are your thoughts on O-line? Are you looking to see just another year with who we have, or would you try to pick up somebody else?
I don't know. Because I was not happy with the run offense, and so that's an issue. That's obviously an issue. But we're in a rare situation where we can have a starting lineup all returning, like returning next year. And it's not a bad lineup. It's not, out of all five of them, it's not a bad lineup, but it's just what they do when it's like run blocking. That's ass. So what do you do there? Like switching the positions up is not going to do anything. Signing somebody to replace somebody, that's not going to do anything either. I think we just need we need to do something in training. We need to do something better in like an O-lines coach or something to improve what's going on there. But I just don't know what you can do when you have starters, legitimate starters, because essentially the only thing I would change is re-signing some of your guys. Like Badass, you might be able to draft or get another legitimate backup for him. But, Chris Paul needs to be re-signed, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was trying to say, we have 4 guys. We don't have all 5.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of Brandon Coleman. That's why.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought you might.
I was thinking of Brandon Coleman, but that's one that you need to re-sign. I think with the way he's he took a starting spot. I think you do need to re-sign him, and I don't think it'll be expensive. But yeah, but if you choose not to, Brandon Coleman slides in, and you need to get him up to par and get him aligned with everybody else. And then I'd argue that you need to re-sign Tunsil and re-sign Badass. Yeah, those guys need to be re-signed.
Yeah, lock
It
him in.
might take away
Extended,
from the,
right.
It might. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you want to extend them, right?
Yeah, you want, and
Yeah.
it'll take away from the cap hit. So honestly, gives us more opportunity to sign more people other places also.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, Will, and you and I had talked about that, about, to Ab's point, that we have the line coming back, but we wondered, was it the offensive line coach? I mean, was he the one that maybe, because we still could not 2 years in a row really could not get a consistent run game going. So what do you keep who we have resign, like Ab was saying, or are you looking at, a Zeitler or some of these older guys, or somebody that can come in? And what are you thinking?
Probably not an older guy. I'm not really sure, and I think this is part of the reason, though, why they wanted to part ways with Cliff Kingsbury. And one of the parts that when they're talking about what Ben Johnson and KOC do really well is their run game matches or looks a lot like their pass game with the amount of play action that they do, where Cliff didn't do a ton of play action. He did a lot of play action from shotgun, but it didn't, it doesn't confuse the defense as much. And so they think Blau's going to bring in a lot more going under center. So the defense just is not quite real aware of what is coming towards them. And so I think I'm agreeing with you all, and what Nathan's saying is, like, I think coaching had something to do with it, whether that was Cliff, whether that was Bobby Johnson. I think that could be improved in that way. What do they do at left guard? Do you bring in a Chris Paul? Do you bring him back? I think you're right. He's not going to be really very expensive to bring back. I have concerns that you got a guy in the third round who played well at tackle, and they said could do even better at guard, and then he gets beat by a guy who was a sixth-round pick. So I just have some concerns about it. So I don't really have strong feelings on the offensive line. I can't say I read names and go, oh yeah, he'd be a good fit. So out of respect for finding guys in the draft, I think we sign Ab's guy from the Vegas Raiders, Dylan Parham, to be our starting left guard, because we should have drafted him 3 to 4 years ago and we didn't.
Okay. What do you guys think about Evan Neal from the Giants? Guard.
That'll be cheap, and I don't know. Sometimes a change of scenery does something to guys. They didn't like or appreciated him in the Giants, and he's huge.
Yeah.
I don't know if they tried him at guard though. So
they did.
He was always like from what I understand and remember, they've always had him at left tackle, and that's all they really tried him at. And honestly, it didn't work out there, so they just put him on the bench, and they didn't release him. So that's insane. So they didn't try and trade him or anything. So here we come, free agency. So, I mean, it's worth a chance, especially if you don't give him any money. So if you don't give him that much guarantees or whatnot, sure, why not?
Exactly. Evan Neal got the Michael Orr treatment, if we're being honest. Okay, elaborate, Nate.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, you bring up a good point of like free agents, first round picks that didn't quite make it. I mean, there's Evan Neal, there's Elijah Vera Tucker. He's had some injuries, and then there's Jack's guy. Remember him coming on here saying he wanted Tevin Jenkins. When he hears this later on, Jack, that was a huge bust of a pick. But he's a free agent too. He went to Cleveland as a guard. So there are some reclamation projects out there. And I may be going whatever's the least expensive route between, Chris Paul and Brandon Coleman so that we can spend money elsewhere. That might be the route I go.
Yeah.
Uh, Braxton Jones sounds familiar.
That name does sound familiar.
I believe he was a first rounder. I thought.
Speaking of guys that we looked at,
is
in
that the guy
draft,
from Pittsburgh?
He's in Chicago.
Oh,
yes.
I don't know the name very well.
Speaking of guys that we picked up, that we talked about in the draft, two guys. One, Nate, you know this guy very well, Tyler Linderbaum, and Trevor Pinnock. Both young guys, both drafted only 3 years in the league, only 3 years ago. So, just obviously just another name we're throwing out there. But again, shout out to our guy Alex Loosemore, who's a former O lineman, and it says just getting a guy is half the battle. They still have to mesh and find that chemistry with the rest of the O line. So I think there is some benefit in keeping kind of the pieces we have in house and see if they can build another year of kind of chemistry between them. But there's definitely some names on here that years ago, if you can look back at the draft videos we've done where we said, hey,
so
this
Sean,
guy. Yeah.
So if I'm seeing this, I didn't even look at centers, to be honest. I only looked at guards that would be available. But if I'm doing this, Ab, you tell me what the cost is to cut Tyler Biadasz, and if it's not bad, I'm getting Tyler Linderbaum for 5 years.
I just saw that too. We're
spending money elsewhere where we already have a guy. Yeah, I mean, give me Linderbaum over Biadasz. Holy smokes! But
all right,
again,
give me
we're
a second.
spending money in places where we already have established guys.
Because Linderbaum is like 26 years old. He could be our legit be our center for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's dope, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, and like you said, it's real important with Biadasz. I mean, he's going into his last year of his contract.
11 million cap hit, and dead cap is 8.1. So we'll save $2.9 million if we cut him. It's not much, but it's something. It's in the plus.
Gotcha. Right. But we'd have to pay $8 million to make him go away. And no, Nathan, you don't get a chance to sign him.
So you kind of you look at if it's positive or negative, Will, and if it's so that's how I look at it, So it's we'll be getting 2.9 positive towards the cap, so that's
right.
That's a good thing.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah. So is there any other names? You guys good with O-line?
I just
I don't know
I think it's
offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think it's just what are we trying to do? If we're trying to get better at run blocking, then is it worth it blowing up the whole offensive line in order to do it? Just like what Will said earlier, it's like the cohesion of the offensive line is what really, really matters. And how do we achieve that next year? With new offensive coordinator, maybe a new offensive line coach. How do we achieve getting the cohesion on the offensive line where Jaden doesn't have to be in shotgun every play?
Yes, especially not on third and short.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably get him out of shotgun on third and short. I'm just saying.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, buddy. He said, Nathan said, I won't blow it up. I'd start with evaluating the staff first. And look, at the end of the day, like you guys have alluded to, we don't know kind of what David Blau is going to do with the offense. And I think that's going to play a major role in the decisions that are made. So we will be looking in the next coming days, weeks, months to kind of see what he is going to think about implementing and then go from there. But again, this is something that we are very excited about, looking at these names and going through lists and crushing numbers and all this good stuff. So definitely look forward to that. Next week we're going to hit you with that defense. We're going to talk defense. We're going to talk what we need, and let me tell you, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be everything. A little bit of everything, a lot of bit of everything. D-line, linebackers. Yeah. This is where that money's going. That defense. So yeah, definitely join us on that one, and let us know what you think on offense. Who you think we should be getting? Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I just want to know why Nathan's trying to push for Flaley on us.
Guys,
Like, why
he's trying to put all his players on us.
On us, man.
Yeah. You see how he tried to slip that in there?
Oh, garbage ass dude, man. Oh, my
He
goodness.
doesn't want to give up Linderbaum.
Long ago.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he goes, you can't have Linderbaum, but you could have this guy.
We don't want him.
Right. We're on to you, Nathan. We are on to your games.
Oh man. They says also Dan needs to let these guys do their things and keep the ship floating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adam Peters needs to do his thing and bring in some good players. Now that's going to get an amen from Nathan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, love. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So look, ladies and gentlemen, always a good time when I got my guys with me and we are talking off-season stuff. Amen. Yep. So, hey, this is that time of the year when everything is possible and all anticipation, expectation, everything's out the window. It's going to be so nice. We're finding out about our squad and going into that defense. Trust me, if we enjoyed this part, going into that defense, there's going to be a lot to talk about because we need help in a lot of different places on defense. And maybe by then we'll have a new DC and kind of see, where he's trying to go. Wait, is Tressway a free agent? Also, they're looking for a kicker. We're always looking for a kicker, but I don't think Tress is a free agent.
He might be, but they better re-sign him.
Yeah, I was about to say.
He's a
Let's
free
throw
agent.
all that money at him. He is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we need to re-sign him. He made the Pro Bowl. My guy.
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah, need to. My MVP for sure. But look, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank y'all for joining us in the comments. Nathan, basically, I'm talking to you. So, he said, so they aren't going forward with Jake Moody? Damn, I don't know. Do you think they're going to?
This is not the special team show, Nathan.
Nate's trying, man. He's trying to do it. Yo, we will discuss that at a later date. But yeah, no, this we talked offense this week. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. We're gonna talk defense and potentially special teams next week if we have time. And just keep looking at this offseason, keep bringing you closer and closer to the draft and seeing kind of what we do in free agency and everything like that. So we appreciate y'all joining us. We appreciate you joining us. And gotta shout out our guy. You see him right there. The shirtless wonder in the building, Mr. Ab Low. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Who you're getting pretty close to finishing up those classes. Am I not mistaken?
I'm still trucking, man.
Come on. Come on.
Nowhere near in sight yet.
All right, hey, but hey, you still moving one step in front of the other, man. I love it. Oh yeah, yo. So always a good time. We got our guy out here, and obviously you see my guy over there, South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer. May, we appreciate it. We love it. We enjoy it. Talking football with you guys. And real quick, I want to shout out Sammy. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you watching the show. Definitely much appreciated. We'll talk a little bit later. This is your boy, Sean Spencer, with my guys, Will and Ab, Washington Football Weekly. Join us next time. We'll see you on the flip. Peace, people. Yes, sir.
Welcome to Washington Football Week with your host, one half of that dynamic duo, Sean Spencer, and South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer.
Don't play us if you're undefeated.
Where we celebrate past success while looking to a bright future. There's a youth movement in Washington, and they're ready to take the reins. Led by firefighters.
Play aggressive.
It's a new day. New dawn. No longer the laughing stock. It's time to take